Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we are going to be reading, oh my goodness, Miss Marcel's hair is crazy. But when is it not? Today we are going to be reading another legend, and it is called The Legend of the Bluebonnet. Oh no. The Legend of the Bluebonnet. And I'm so excited because it's a really good book and I think you're really going to like it. But most importantly, I want you to pay attention to the characteristics. Remember the different things that are in legends that let us know, hey, this is a legend, right? So make sure you're paying close attention because you will have an assignment to do. So this is called The Legend of the Bluebonnet, and it is an old tale of Texas, retold and illustrated by Tommy de Paola, which is the same as the one we read here, The Legend of the Indian Paintbrush. Excuse me. All right, here we go. So excited. Great spirits, the land is dying. Your people are dying too. The long line of dancers sang, tell us what you have done. Tell us what we have done to anger you. In this drought, save your people. Tell us what we must do so you will send the rain that will bring back life. So it looks like they're in a dry spell. So there's no water coming in. Everything is drying out. They want rain. They're like, come on, what do I need to do for rain? For 3 days, the dancers danced to the sound of drums. And for 3 days, the people called Comanche watched and waited. And even though the hard winter was over, no healing rains came. So it looks like, I guess it was winter, so I'm assuming it's cold. So they need rain. That's most likely the problem here. Oh, here it is. Drought and famine are hardest on the very young and the very old. So that means like when it's really dry, there's nothing there. You can't eat, you can't grow anything. There's nothing to drink and stuff like that. And it's saying that it's hard on young people and really old people. Among the few children left was a small girl named She Who Is Alone. She sat by herself watching the dancers. In her lap was a doll made from buckskin, a warrior doll. And the eyes, nose, and mouth were painted with the juice of berries. It wore beaded leggings and a belt polished bone. On its head were brilliant blue feathers from the bird who cries, Jay, Jay, Jay. She loved her doll very much. Soon, she who is all alone, she is alone, said to her doll, the shaman will go off alone to the top of the hill and listen for the words of the great spirits. Then we will know what to do so that once more the rains will come and the earth will be green and alive and the buffalo will be plentiful and the people will be rich again. As she talked, she thought of her mother who made the doll, of the father who brought the blue feathers. She thought of the grandfather and the grandmother she had also known. They were all like shadows. It seemed long ago that they had died from the famine. The people had named her and cared for her. The warrior doll was the only thing that she had left for those distant days. So she was the only one that survived. Her family passed away because they couldn't survive the drought, the famine, not having food, not having drinks, without rain. The sun is setting, the runner called, and as he ran through the camp, the shaman is returning. The people gathered in a circle, and the shaman spoke. I have heard the words of the great spirits, he said. The people have become selfish. For years they have taken from the earth without giving anything back. The great spirits say that people must sacrifice. We must make a burnt offering, the most valued possession among us. The ashes of this offering shall then be scattered to the 4 points of the earth, the home of the winds. When the sacrifice is made, drought and famine will cease. Life will be restored in the earth and to the people. So it said that people were just being really selfish. They were only caring about themselves, taking away from the earth and not giving anything back. So they're saying we need to make a sacrifice. We need to give something up to the earth that we love and care for, so that we can be blessed and we can have rain and everything we need to make everything come back alive. The people sing a song of thanks to the great spirits for telling them what they must do. I'm sure it is now my new bow that the great spirits want, a warrior said. Or my special blanket, a woman added. And as everyone went to their teepees to talk and think over what the great spirits had asked. Everyone, that is, except she who is alone. She held her doll tightly to her heart. You, she said, looking at the doll, you are my most valued possession. It is you the great spirits must want. And she knew what she must do. And as the council fires died out, the teepee flats began to close. The small girl returned to the teepee where she slept to wait. How many of you thought that she was going to give up her doll? I thought so too. The night outside was still, except for the distant sound of the night bird with the red wings. Soon everyone in the teepee was asleep, except she who is alone. Under the ashes of the teepee fire, one stick still glowed. She took it and quietly crept out into the night. She ran to the place on the hill where the great spirits had spoken to the shaman. Stars filled the sky, but there was no moon. Oh, great spirits, she who is alone said, here is my warrior doll. It is the only thing I have from my family who died in this famine. It is my most valued possession. Please accept it. It's telling the spirits to please take my little doll. And it's really important to her. That's what she means. It's my most valued possession. Something that means a lot to you. Then, gathering twigs, she started a fire with the glowing fire stick. The small girl watched as the twigs began to catch and burn. She thought of her grandmother and grandfather and her mother and her father and all the people, their suffering and their hunger. And before she could change her mind, she thrust the doll into fire. She watched until the flames died down and the ashes grown cold. Then, scooping up a handful, she, who was alone, scattered the ashes to the home of the winds, the north and the east, and the south and the west. And there she fell asleep until the first light of the morning sun woke her. She looked out over the hill, and stretching from all sides where the ashes had fallen, the ground was covered with flowers, beautiful flowers, and as the feathers in the hair of the doll, as blue as the feathers of the bird who cries, Jay, Jay, Jay. When the people came out of their teepees, they could scarcely believe their eyes. They gathered on the hill with who is alone to look at the miraculous sight. And there was no doubt about it. The flowers were a sign of forgiveness from the great spirits. And as the people sang and danced their thanks to the great spirits, a warm rain began to fall, and the land began to live again. From that day on, the little girl who's known by another name, one who dearly loved her people. So it was because of her offering, too, that they got rain and they were able to live. And every spring, the great spirits remembered the sacrifice of a little girl and filled the hills and valleys of the land that is now called Texas with beautiful blue flowers, even to this day. So the legend was that because of she who is alone giving up her doll which was the only thing that she had left from her family, is why we have all those beautiful flowers in the spring in Texas now. All right, boys and girls, make sure you finish your activity. I'll see you later. Bye.